Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion plays the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. Dude, I totally forgot we unlocked the Polygon, so of course we don't have to go through the whole rigmarole. What character are we gonna play as? We started with Magic Mushroom thanks to Eden's blessing. It's gonna be a good day. MQ1T H2 GQ. I would hate the GQ, because you know what? It's a magazine that represents... Well, I don't know. I've never actually read GQ. I thought it was a men's fashion magazine, but I believe it's a lifestyle magazine, but in like the real way that it's a lifestyle magazine and not in the way that adult magazines, which may or may not even exist anymore in North America, say that they're lifestyle magazines, but really they tell you how to tie a tie, and also much of it is about making yourself squirt. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get around the Google DeepMind language filter while still touching mature themes and content. That's kind of the spirit of my life. What is up with magazines for real? This is a question, and I always, when I bring this stuff up, I want to preface it by saying that, like, it's a real question. Dude, I do love Little Bumbo. On the other hand, give me them stats. It's a tough call. Sometimes I preface it and I say, I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm treating this as a joke. Like the whole... couldn't you just drink more water to get over a salt overconsumption sort of situation. But sometimes I genuinely, if anybody out there has wisdom, I would love to know. Do you work in magazine publishing? I will explain to you my perhaps ignorant opinion on magazines as somebody who purchased a lot of them back in the 90s and early 2000s, but has not purchased one. I mean, literally since like the second time I was in an airport, and I was like, maybe I'll get a business magazine, see what those businessmen are always reading about. And it's always like, you know, top 10 ways to manage your employees. And every single one is just like, talk to them. Anyway, it seems like an outdated model to me. Because a magazine is just like a really, really slow internet. Obviously, I don't expect you to really be covering news or anything like that in a magazine, unless it's, you know, deep dives, popular mechanics like National Geographic or The Economist sort of stuff. I don't think I want it, honestly. Maybe I would have wanted it, but I definitely do not think I need it in order to enjoy myself on this run. But it seems like a slow internet. Like, if you're a video game magazine, the only one that survived, I think, at least in North America, is GamePro. And as much as I don't want to dance on the graves of any other publications, because, you know, briefly, I came into the industry, like, right at the... Not so much the death of the magazine, but more so, like, the, you know, the death of, like, a lot of smaller sort of blogs and review websites, like, you know, GameSpy, for example. But I knew a couple people that we used to work in magazines and then moved on to blogs, and it's just, like, you know, kind of a cursed existence in that sense. But it's just, it makes me wonder, like, how do those... magazines that are still around. Like, if you're a gaming magazine and you have reviews, that's tough, right? I mean, you're writing a review, unless you get code for the game like 6 weeks in advance, you're writing it probably a week before the game comes out, but it might take 3 or 4 weeks just to get it to print and then distribute it. By the time it comes out, everybody's already finished playing it, at least in the current era. But even for other stuff, like... Sorry, frog voice for a second there. Like, when I'm at the grocery store, I will always see, like, these monthly magazines that are so highly specific, it doesn't seem like there's any way that they could survive. Like, I was at the grocery store today, they had a magazine, Slow Cooked Meals. That's the name of the magazine. I imagine that's probably not a once-a-month sort of magazine. That's probably, like, a few times annually we print Slow Cooked Meals and you can have it delivered. But, I mean, come on. Who's subscribing to Slow Cooked Meals? Even quarterly, you know, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, you'd be like, oh, I could either go on the internet, Google slow-cooked recipe for whatever ingredients I have right now, or I could wait for my copy of Slow-Cooked Meals to arrive at some point in the next 6 weeks, go out, specifically buy the ingredients that they have, hope that it's good. There's just so many more steps involved, you know, like, wait, is there a tinted rock? There is. You know, somebody has to print the paper, and then the paper gets shipped to the magazine printing company. Writers write it, but that doesn't change. You know, it gets laid out. They call advertisers, probably on a landline, because it's a bit of an antiquated existence. So, you know, that'll be $500,000 for spread. Yeah, we have a distribution of 16. Then goes to the printers, and then mail carriers all over the country carry the magazine. They put it into your mailbox. You read it while you're taking a poop, and you're like, oh, I should really make that, you know, 3-bean chili. Just seems a little bit of an antiquated model when you could just go to Google. Bean slow cooker recipes. You could even mistype it. It wouldn't matter. So I'm interested to know, if you work in the industry, what's it like? It definitely, you know, you probably don't need me to tell you this, but it does seem like the industry's gotten a little smaller. When I was a kid, the magazine aisle at a grocery store was like, that was Mecca. Official PlayStation, official Xbox magazine, you know, magazines with demo discs, PC Gamer, which still exists in a blog form, and does great work, I might add. I'm trying to think of the other one. There was another PC magazine that always gave like a demo disc. You know, there's Nintendo Power. All sorts of magazines that you would go and you'd be like, man, this is like, it's the best way to get media, because video didn't exist, but you'd wait like, hope that Electric Playground comes on TV Saturday at 9 a.m. This is not a knock on EPTV, and I mean that to be honest with you. But, you know, sometimes you'd wake up at 9 a.m. on a Saturday, 2001, and they're reviewing a game that came out 3 weeks ago, because, I don't know, maybe the station mixed up the broadcast time or something like that. You're like, come on, Victor Lucas and Tommy Tallarico, this is not helping me out as much as I need right now. It's not your fault necessarily. You might have filmed this review right when the game came out, but by the time it ended up in my hands, it was useless. Or not useless, still entertaining. Because I don't know about you guys, but like when I was a kid, anytime a video game was involved in any piece of media, it was something to be celebrated. You know, it was like, if there was a movie that had a video game in it, you'd be like, whoa, what are they playing? Oh my word. So I even, like, when The King of Kong came out, I was like, dude, it's a documentary about video games? I think this hobby might actually start to take off. And now Ninja's on the cover of ESPN the magazine as the world's first esports athlete with the cover story. Interesting. I mean, I'm not saying it negative. You know, I think the temptation is there, DAE Fortnite, DAE Ninja. It would be, here's the thing, okay? I'm just being real. I feel like when a lot of people would have a conversation like this, they would say, I'm happy for him and his success. I'm not. It's not that I'm unhappy that he's successful, I just don't know him, you know? Like, I'm happy that he's doing well, I guess. I'm not unhappy that he's doing well, but I don't know him, you know? I hope that he seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders for the most part. We have not fought Mega Satan. We should try and then suck both of these up, I think. I know there's been incidents, but, you know, for anybody at that level of popularity, there's going to be incidents of, you know, gray areas for sure. But I'm just like, you know, it always strikes me as so disingenuous when people are like, I'm really happy for him and his success. Well, it's like, it's not a crime to, like, not be overjoyed that a stranger you've never met is successful. If a stranger you've never met is successful and you're going, freak that guy, you're probably, like, a little petty and a piece of garbage. But it's not like I'm at home with a smile on my face being like, Ninja's done it. Happy is just an overstatement. I'm content that he's happy, or that he's large, but, you know, there's definitely a temptation. I see it in some Twitch channels. It's kind of an ugly look, you know. And not so much channels, actually. I should be saying, like, I see it in a lot of Twitch viewers. So, for once, I'm turning the veil on my own paying customers. Or turning the lens on my own paying customers. But, you know, when something becomes popular, it's a lot easier to be like, you know, it's garbage. I don't think Fortnite's garbage, though. Not for me any longer, but not garbage. Plus, I don't know. Like, here's the thing. Every once in a while, I interface with the other side of Twitch that I've never really intentionally been a part of. And that's the side of Twitch that watches people because they're good at video games. And I'll tell you how it always happens. Something goes terribly wrong, and I end up as one of the top streamers for a competitive game. It does happen occasionally for PUBG, you know, when the good people are off. And you get people that come into chat, they're like, who's this nerd? Why can't he shoot? Why does he have so many viewers? Which is always very flattering when people come in and they're like, how did this bad guy get so many viewers? And I'm like, dude, I must be really entertaining. For the first thing somebody says is like, how did this guy get so popular when he's so bad? It's like, what you've done is insult my gameplay, but you're basically saying like your charisma is second to none. But, yeah, like, or we're the top streamers for Rainbow Six in the directory or something like that, and then people come in and they're like, they're not even using the Ying Pro League strat. And it sucks. It actually does, like, I think I have it really, really easy on Twitch compared to a lot of people that are larger than me. And that sounds like I'm, you know, I don't know, putting on a pretense, I guess, but I mean it sincerely. This is gonna, I'm not joking when I say this, but it is going to come across as very self-inflating. All I have to do when I stream is be entertaining. And for me, that's kind of like, I'm not saying every stream is 10 out of 10, but for me, that's second nature when I'm streaming. You know, off stream, I could be extremely boring, and I relish that opportunity. But on stream, you know, I don't really see the point of turning it on if I'm just going to keep my mouth shut the whole time. And when I'm talking, you know, I'm desperate for other people's approval, so I would like to, you know, try to be as entertaining as possible. So it's really, for me, it's easy. But if your whole life, and I don't know, maybe it's easy for them, but if your whole life and career is staked on actually being good at video games, that's scary, man. Every time you turn on the stream, you're in like, you know, you're in an esports event. You're fighting for your life. I have an immense amount of respect for that. Even if it's not the niche that I occupy. Like, I think that's amazing. I would struggle to make that work. Let's be honest. Like, not only because I have a certain, you know, I don't think I'm like maladroit when it comes to games or, you know, inept. Despite what the YouTube comments say, I don't think so. I think when it comes to, based on my performances on the NLSS, okay, I think I tend to be maybe around average, which is okay. But, I mean, average on Twitch is probably a little bit below average. Or, sorry, a little bit above average. I mean, it's not a shade throw. You know, people that end up streaming on Twitch probably tend to be people who have played a lot of games throughout their existence, and, you know, as a result, that probably gives them a little bit of a likelihood to be, no, but still really good, a likelihood to be better at games. So I think I'm, like, above average, or it's possibly average relative to the regular crowd. And then on Twitch, probably, I don't know, maybe a little bit below average. But anyway, I'm just saying I don't think I'm terrible at most games. Some games for sure. Shooters, for whatever reason. You wouldn't believe it. But when I was a kid, I was topping Quake 3 lobbies. Not every lobby. I mean, there were people that were like professionals, but, you know, I was doing pretty well. It's just something that happened later in life. It all started to fall apart. Tammy's head is obviously very good, but so be it. Dude, we probably will do boss rush on this run. This is a very strong run. We should do Mega Satan as well if we can. And let's try to do the Dark Room if we do all that. Oh, we got plenty of time. I love it. Anyway, I'm just saying, you know, you might think like, I mean, I guess on a numeric level, of course, you know, you would trade places. You'd be like, would you rather have X number of subs or, you know, 50 times X number of subs? I guess you'd rather have 50 times the subs. But it's a lot of pressure, I think, to be not only, like, on display, but also have to basically, like, you know, be good or people will make fun of you. I'm bad and people still make fun of me, but it's kind of like, you know, I'm in on the joke as well. Anyway, they're just Twitch musings. Can you just give me some HP? Like, I know I could use the Sun card and then roll the World card and that would also be fine, but, like, just on a principled level, like, I think you should pay out because you're being kind of a jerk right now. I'm just saying, like, I've given you, like, 50 cents. At some point, you should pay out. Blind Rage does allow us to get 2 plays out of the Blood Bank. So it might allow us to get 3 plays out of the Demon Judgment. Oh, my word. Let's see. I think we can get 3. We just kind of hit a weird collision there. Get away! I mean, get it away from him. This is a little absurd. Yeah, we got 3 there. Like, I am just actually surprised that we can't seem to get either of you to pay out after all of this. Like, I just gotta be real with you. It kind of seems like you're messing with me. Okay, fanny pack at least makes, you know, we have an extra incentive to play this guy. I was gonna say he's gotta pay out soon. I'm willing to take it. We're getting close to spun. That was really good, actually. So, we can play this twice. Let's try to get our money back. We got plenty of time, and I would really like to get blood bag. To be honest, neither of the items that we got are necessarily, like, huge helpers for us. We did get an HP downgrade via experimental treatment. Please. I mean, the HP's coming back. But I'm just, like... Okay, well, I mean, I'll give it to you. That's... You got me there. I'm not losing my mind, right? Like, this is an aggressively, like, stingy arcade, I think. I can see forever is fine. Alright, now, just don't immediately die. That would be a huge bummer for me. I don't even remember what we've got sucked up here as active items go. We definitely have a couple of books. I think we'd still rather wait it out. Dude, I'm playing this because, like, this is our leverage. We gotta lean on it. Well, I mean, Child's Heart could be useful. We probably should stop this. It's getting a little dangerous. Anyway, just my thoughts. I'm not saying I'm effortlessly entertaining. Like, at the end of a stream, I am tired. You wouldn't think it. And, you know, is it as tiring as doing manual physical labor? No. But, I mean, when I finish a stream, I'm like... I think I actually use, like, 30% more energy when I'm streaming than when I'm just doing nothing. It might seem like talking, and that's, like, you know, not really that... I'm not saying it's exercise, I guess is what I'm trying to get at here. I'm under no delusion there. But, like, I think the brain eats up a lot of calories, man, as that engine is trying to run. And sometimes it gets stuck in the mud, but you're still using gas, you know? Even if it's going... Ramp, 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 ramp. I'll, like, eat before the stream. And then an hour and a half into the stream, almost regardless of what I ate, my body is like, I have like a Lovecraftian hunger. I crave the carbon of living creatures. That could be plants. So you might be looking for an update on bachelor life. For the most part, I mean, again, you know, I lived on my own for like a while. I mean, I lived with other people, but other people alone. Like, when you have roommates, depending on, I guess, like, your roommates. It's not like you're living with somebody that does your chores for you. That's kind of, like, ridiculous, right? So, I've lived with other people, but handled, like, my own business for a long time. So, bachelor life has been good so far. I dropped Kate off at the airport, like, 7 hours ago. Since then, I did the NLSS, went to the grocery store, got the ingredients for a large pot of chili, and then made the large pot of chili, and now, like, basically here we are. I'm recording a bunch of stuff. It's been, if you're looking for some kind of update, it's like, I ate my own shoe for dinner with some melted cheese on it. Nah, I'm not about that lifestyle. I'm a little bit more mindful today's day and age. Oh, that was a great drop. Yes, I have done some emergency meals when Kate has not been here in the past. One time I did eat a hard taco shell with melted cheese on it. That was mostly because in my head I said, kind of like a nacho. It was not. Because I think a hard taco shell is kind of like, it's a stale tortilla chip. It works okay for a taco, but like on its own, it's nothing impressive. One time I did eat like 6 strips of bacon for lunch. That's literally because I came back from the airport like half an hour before the NLSS started, and all we had in our fridge that was like edible for a lunchtime meal was bacon. After that, I went to the grocery store and I probably did some meal prep. Okay, so we're doing dark room stuff here. And by dark room, I mean Polaroid, which is the chest, because I am a fool and accidentally went in the wrong direction. That's okay, though. We can still, like, knock out a ton of stuff here. This should be the second key piece. We're probably going to try boss rush as well. So I don't really care about sucking up Guppy's head. I'd rather suck up, you know, every item in here, even though they're all pretty bad. And we'll try to make boss rush work. So it's probably the worst Mama Mega you can ever imagine, but that's okay. So yeah, I mean, Bachelor life has been pretty easy so far. I don't have big plans. Like, honestly, my life is gonna be pretty much the same. I'm just gonna, like, play a lot more NHL at night. Because, like, usually at night, when we're both finished streaming and recording, we'll hang out together. We'll get, like, a dinner together. I'll tell you the one thing that's gonna make a big difference is meal efficiency. And I love eating dinner with my wife. I know, I'm a thrill seeker. No, but I do, and it's like a communal experience. But it takes a lot longer than when a dude eats dinner by himself. Never in my life have I had a 1-hour dinner experience where I was alone. Which, you know, there's no scintillating conversation. It's like, we get along so well, you can't even believe it. No, it's, so, like, instead of spending, like, you know, maybe half an hour cooking and then half an hour eating, or 45 minutes hanging out while we eat, it'll be much more like I made this chili, I'm gonna heat it up and eat it at my desk. It's meal efficiency. Now, I'm not saying that's a platonic ideal that I, like, you know, wish to experience in my everyday life. It's just a subtle difference. I'm gonna save a little bit of time on meals. There's a little extra time to be gleaned there. You can grind a few thousand extra coins in NHL that way. But I feel like there's, you know, in the NLSS community, there's a wide divergence of, like, meal efficiencies. Robert, and this is not meant to be judgmental to anybody involved in the show, Robert strikes me as being very meal inefficient. And that's a good thing. If anything, he's, like, closer to the norm of a well-functioning individual in this sense. You know, he will take an hour to cook a meal from scratch that he eats once or twice. Austin is on the very opposite end of that. He's extremely meal efficient. He wastes no time. Probably spends more money than other people would, but he spends no time cooking and instead just gets his meals delivered. Helps him achieve peak productivity. Both of those, you know, they have their places. I'm not saying that I got it figured out any more than them. What I will say is, you know, like, if you were like, hey, you know, I really want to eat lasagna tonight, I'd be like, okay, I'll order a lasagna. If someone said, nah, I want you to cook it from scratch, I'd be like, okay, we're not having lasagna then. That's a large undertaking. Similarly, if someone was like, what do you want to do for dinner tonight? And I said, anything but delivery, and they said, I just ordered DoorDash, I would be like, I'm worried my body is going to either dry out into a husk or it's going to explode at some point with some kind of, like, combustible gas. Please, no more DoorDash. But if it works for them, in all sincerity, if my friends are happy, I'm happy. I'm not saying I'm the galaxy brain just because I'm somewhere in the middle, but if anything, like, I've lived that Robert lifestyle to some extent. In college, I did a lot of cooking from scratch. Once a week, we would high roast a chicken with a recipe from America's Test Kitchen that was beautiful. And I usually did it from scratch myself. It's a great meal. If you ever find yourself at home on, like, a Sunday and you got a couple of hours to invest in a great chicken dinner, I would really recommend looking up America's Test Kitchen's high roasted chicken recipe. It's fantastic. But in today's day and age, you know, I got other responsibilities. I never understood, you know, when I was younger and older, people would be like, you know, it's so exhausting. Like, we would get pizza, and my mom would be like, oh, finally, I don't have to cook dinner. And I'd be like, well, I'm happy because we're having pizza, but, like, I didn't realize it was such a hassle to cook dinner. It can be, you know, you wake up at 7 a.m., shower, maybe put on makeup, drive yourself half an hour to work for 8 hours, drive yourself half an hour home, and then you're like, okay, the whole family wants dinner now. You're not really off the clock until like 8. Watch NCIS, watch Jimmy Fallon in bed, and there you go. You know, you wake up and do it again the next day. It's exhausting. I understand the appeal of a delivery meal, no question. This is probably true for a lot of people, but like, I don't know if it's like a mental thing. I get that you can order stuff delivered, that is. Here's, I guess, my philosophy on this, okay? I know you can order stuff to be delivered that is not just like hamburgers, french fries, pizza, fried chicken, etc., etc., etc. But what you get delivered, oh, there was a tinted rock, is always, I think, going to be a less healthy version of the dish in the same facsimile that you would make yourself. Like if you order, I don't know, chicken soup, there's gonna be more salt, there's gonna be more oil in the restaurant. And the restaurant's job is to make you buy more soup, so it makes perfect sense. At home, you're like, oh, I don't want to put that much butter into the, you know, biscuit recipe. The restaurant's like, put more butter into that. There was a great sale on butter today. No tinted rocks. All right. Because we have Goat Head, I don't feel too badly about this, but we are a little light on HP. We're accomplishing a lot on this run. So, I don't know if it's physical or mental, but for me, if Kate and I eat out like 3 times in a row, I don't even know what I'm doing here. Hold on. So we're not going to pick that up. Do we care about sucking it up? Doesn't really matter. So I think we'll just... Yeah, that's what I thought would happen there. There was also a reroll, some kind of reroll happened in there. I don't know. But anyway, why not get an extra floor, right? And then we also sucked up Bob's brain. Really valuable. My body, like, yells at me and is like, just eat, like, a salad for dinner for 2 nights in a row. And then I'm back to baseline. It's probably just something I guess you get adjusted to. Or don't and cook a little. But again, I'm not telling anybody how to live their life. I find myself ordering in. I would be uncomfortable ordering in that much. However, I would also be uncomfortable taking an hour to cook a meal that I would only eat once or twice. I'll take an hour to cook a meal that I'll eat 4 times in a row. That's fine by me. I do value meal efficiency, at least if I'm only looking out for number 1. I like a dinner that you can basically get front to back in 20 minutes or less. Might seem like a little low. I would agree. You know, you're not boiling any grains over that period of time. That was really lucky that our range is high enough there. So I don't know. There's a situation that happens in married life sometimes where, like, maybe your wife has a late lunch and she doesn't really want to eat dinner, but you're like hungry. So you go, what do you want to do for dinner? And she goes, I'm not really hungry, I just ate. I relish those days because, for me, it's sandwich for dinner. I always go, and for some reason, and my mom was like this with my dad as well. So I'm not going to say it's specifically like it's a gender-based issue. But I guess I come by it honestly. It runs in the family. My wife seems to think, Kate seems to think it's like a punishment. It's like, oh, she's like, oh, you can't just have a sandwich for dinner. And I'm like, you don't understand. That's my dream dinner. Instead of dinner being, it's a little spooky here. Instead of dinner taking 40 minutes, dinner's gonna take 5 minutes, and it's a sandwich. It's not my favorite meal, and you could probably get a more complete nutrient profile than 2 slices of bread and whatever else you put in it. But you can put some healthy stuff in there, and then beyond that, it's delicious and fast. Cheap as well, if that's a concern, but anyway. I love sandwich for dinner night. I don't really care about breakfast for dinner. I know, yes, I've seen Scrubs. Don't at me. I'm okay with it. But, I'm definitely... Ooh, well, see you later, my friend. I'm more of a sandwich for dinner guy. It's kind of the same philosophy, though. So we just can't get hit here. The thing is, even if we die, it's been... Ooh! I was gonna say, even if we die, it's been a good run. But then I died, and I don't feel good about it. We still accomplished a lot. We kind of over-leveraged ourselves, but it was fun nonetheless. Well, enjoy Brinner. And I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It was great. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. See ya!